Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Media Pulse.
Another busy week, politically speaking,
Exactly.
with the so-called Floor 14 scandal dominating the headline. And the scandal is very stubborn. It has refused to go away easily.
Yep.
Because just as former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra thought he was having a free hand, reasserting his political influence, the scandal has come back to haunt him, but this time in a much more menacing way. And once again, Thaksin's political future is hanging in the balance.
Yeah, to cut the long story short, his fate is now in the hands of the Supreme Court Criminal Case Division for Political Office Holders, which will decide whether he will have to go back to jail. So for many people, how things have come to this may sound rather confusing. But it all has to do with a petition from a former MP of the Democrat Party, Thepchai he asked the court to determine whether Thaksin had physically served his prison sentence as mandated following his return from self-imposed exile in August 2023.
Now, by now, it's a common knowledge that Thaksin did not spend a single day behind bars, despite the sentence. And only hours after being taken to the Bangkok remand prison, where he was supposed to serve his one-year sentence, Thaksin was reported to be diagnosed with some serious illnesses and was rushed to the police general hospital instead of the nearby prison hospital. And Thaksin spent the next 6 months supposedly recuperating on floor 14 of the police hospital until he was set free on parole. Of course, we all know that floor 14 is known as a ward reserved for VIP patients only.
As the VIP zone. Okay, so Thepchai asked the court to determine whether Thaksin's stay at the police hospital could be considered equivalent to serving his prison sentence in actual incarceration. On the day of his return in 2023, Thaksin was immediately sentenced to 8 years in prison in 3 cases for corruption and abuse of power while he was in office. The sentence was later reduced to 1 year by royal clemency.
And this is the main point. Thepchai's petition argued that since Thaksin spent his entire time at the police hospital before his parole, he practically avoided serving his sentence in prison. So how the court would decide on Thepchai's petition last week was the focus of attention, at least for a short while. I mean, when he was certainly listening to the court's ruling, Thaksin and his supporters must have heaved a big sigh of relief when the court initially dismissed the petition on the grounds that Thepchai was not an affected party in the case and therefore was not in a position to lodge the complaint.
Yeah, but then came the bad news. Bad news for the former Prime Minister is that the court ruled that while Thepchai's petition was invalid, the court itself has the authority to look into the charge against Thaksin. So in short, the court has now taken it upon itself to find out whether Thaksin had actually served out his jail term in accordance with the sentence or not.
The court subsequently ordered the governor of the Bangkok remand prison, the director general of the Department of Corrections, and the chief of the police general hospital to clarify within 30 days if Thaksin's prison sentence was executed as ordered by the court. And by now, as we all know, that at least 3 agencies have launched separate investigations into the scandal. They include the National Anti-Corruption Commission, the Medical Council of Thailand, and the National Human Rights Commission.
The court set June 13 for a hearing. Legal experts said the worst case scenario is the court ordering Thaksin to go to jail to serve out the 1-year sentence if it can be proven that the former Prime Minister was not actually imprisoned while recuperating at the police hospital.
So that's the legal aspect of the case. But politically speaking, the court's decision to pursue the case is likely to put a damper on the former Prime Minister's increasingly vigorous political maneuvering, at least in the near future. As we know, that Kun Thaksin holds no formal positions either in the party or in the government. However, he is known to be the real power behind his daughter, Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra. And political observers believe that Thaksin's return from his exile and subsequent political rehabilitation is part of a political arrangement for Thaksin to help roll back the increasing influence of political forces seen as being anti-establishment.
Yeah, the 14th floor scandal was one of the issues the opposition bloc raised against Prime Minister Thaksin in a recent no-confidence debate against her. The opposition accused her of colluding to help her father avoid serving his jail term in prison. Well, of course, reporters almost immediately tried to get her reaction on the court's ruling on Wednesday. And here's what she said. Go ask my father.
For Thaksin, however, the Floor 14 scandal is not the only sword hanging over his head. And don't forget that he has been accused of insulting the monarchy under Article 112 of the Criminal Code. The charge stemmed from an interview he gave to a Korean media outlet back in 2015, and the court has scheduled a witness hearing for the case in early July this year.
So he has a lot of court cases hanging, as well as investigations into his stay at the 14th floor of the police hospital.
Yeah. And the past 1 week has also been rife with speculation of a cabinet reshuffle around the corner.
Yeah.
The next general elections won't be until early 2027.
Yeah.
That is 2 years from now. But it looks like many politicians and parties already have their eyes on the next election. And don't be surprised that if some political parties are already starting to make preparation for the big day 2 years away from now.
Well, it's good to be prepared, right? Even the widely speculated cabinet reshuffle over the past 2 weeks is viewed as an early move to prepare for the next general elections. The speculation centers on the faith of Thepchai Thai Party, which is the second biggest partner in the coalition government of Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra.
So many political observers believe that the Thepchai Thai Party's days in the coalition government are numbered. Prime Minister Thaksin has been evasive in answering questions about a potential cabinet reshuffle, but her father, Thaksin Shinawatra, has been much more forthcoming. as we all know, even though in the absence of formal positions, Thaksin is the person who pulls the strings in the Thai Party, the core of the Thaksin coalition.
Yeah, without mentioning any names, Thaksin has openly displayed his displeasure with what he sees as Thepchai Thai Party's wavering support for many of the initiatives of his daughter's government. It is common knowledge that by now that Pheu Thai and Thepchai Thai are not on the same page on many issues, and the last straw is that difference on the entertainment complex bill that would lead to legalizing casinos in Thailand.
No, Thai PBS World has talked to a few insiders in Thepchai Thai Party, and we found out that its leadership doesn't seem to be very much perturbed by the speculation of a cabinet reshuffle. And they gave us the impression that they believe the party still has a political leverage in dealing with Pheu Thai Party, despite all the speculation about Thepchai Thai Party being the target of this reshuffle.
Yeah, well, without Thepchai Thai, the Pheu Thai-led coalition government would end up with a very slim majority in the House. But there is always a possibility of Pheu Thai attracting defectors from some of the opposition parties to make up for the loss.
There's another scenario that short of kicking out Thepchai Thai Party from the coalition government, Pheu Thai Party is said to be keen on wresting back from it some of the more prominent cabinet portfolios. And one of them is the Interior Ministry, which is being occupied by Thepchai Thai leader Anutin Chanvirakul. The Interior Ministry is considered to be one of the most powerful cabinet posts because it administers all local administrative bodies. It appoints and supervises provincial governors and administration officials at all levels. And these are among important mechanisms that are more often than not utilized by politicians in power to serve their political agenda, especially during the time of elections.
Yeah, so 2 years ahead, everybody wants to, they have their eyes on the interior minister. So one can easily imagine how the Phumjai Thai party will fight tooth and nail to guard its control over the interior ministry, even at the price of further antagonizing Thaksin. And the speculation has it that Pheu Thai wants Anutin to relinquish the interior ministry in exchange for another portfolio. But what other portfolio is more important than the interior ministry? That was the question from one of the insiders in the party we talked to.
And the same insider jokingly added when we talked to him, well, how about exchanging the interior ministry with the premiership?
Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal.
Because the premiership, it seems to be the only position in the government that seems to be more valuable than the interim ministry.
True.
Now, we see the remark by this insider as a sign of confidence on the part of Phumjai Thai party that it still has enough bargaining power vis-a-vis Pheu Thai party.
Yeah, and despite that current uneasy relationship, most Thai media believe that the Pheu Thai and Phumjai Thai see more benefits in sticking together than breaking up at this junction. The real battleground is the next general elections.
No, but for Pheu Thai party, reshuffling the cabinet is more than just dealing with the problem of Phumjai Thai party. Pheu Thai party has been in power for almost 2 years now, with Paetongtarn replacing Kun Sethha Thavisin as Prime Minister last August, right?
Yeah.
But the performance of the coalition in most areas has been far from being impressive. And despite the stimulus package, which includes the controversial cash handout program, the economy still remains stagnant.
Yeah, prices of essential goods continue to rise as well, while the ongoing trade war triggered by the US President Donald Trump's tariff hikes has thrown Thailand's economy into further disarray. So political observers believe that Thaksin, the real power in the ruling Pheu Thai party, feels the need to shake up the government's economic team before things get worse and jeopardize the party's chance in the next general elections.
Now, in Thaksin's crosshairs are at least 2 cabinet members, Finance Minister Patchimanon Chunhawachira and Commerce Minister Thepchai Narittapan. So these 2 people have been mentioned quite often by the Thai media as being the potential targets in the reshuffle that many people expect is just around the corner.
Also, some other young cabinet members who are close to his daughter, the Prime Minister, are also among the targets to be replaced for their poor performance. Yeah. And for this program, I think we're going to have to close with the story, which has been widely reported both in the Thai and international media. So it involves an American academic named Paul Chambers, the Thai military, and Article 112 of the Criminal Code, aka lese majeste law. And intriguingly, the incident has also been linked to the tariffs negotiation between Thailand and the US.
Paul Chambers is a 58-year-old lecturer at the Faculty of Social Sciences at Naresuan University in Phitsanulok province. In early April, the police issued an arrest warrant for him on charges of defamation, contempt, or malice towards the royal family, and an offense under the Computer Crime Act. These charges are said to be based on the promotion blurb for a webinar last October hosted by the ISIS Yusof Ishak Institute, which is a Singaporean think tank. And critics claim that the wording of this online blurb was offensive to the Thai monarchy.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to pinpoint the exact wording that was alleged to be offensive because the official charges filed with the police were not publicly available. The closest we have to it is the statement from Chambers' lawyer.
It's interesting to note that the spokesman of the Royal Thai Army, Major General Winthai Suwari, came out to defend the case filed against Dr. Chambers, right? He admitted that the promotion blurb that we talk about was part of the evidence used to back up the charges against Paul Chambers. But he claimed that there are other factors that serve as the basis for the charges against Chambers. But funny that he declined to mention what these factors are, saying that the army did not want to create some kind of a uproar or debate in the court of public opinions.
So we don't know exactly what the problematic clauses are at the moment. So the entity who filed charges was initially understood to be the 3rd Army Region, but it later turned out to be the International Security Operations Command, or ISOC Region 3, right?
ISOC is a legacy of the Cold War. It was set up in early 60s as an instrument to fight the spread of communism. But the agency is still very much alive these days and is being seen as a very powerful security apparatus. And more often than not, according to critics, has been used as a political weapon against political opponents of whoever is in power.
Yeah, so Paul Chambers is a well-known academic whose research focuses on the role of the Thai military in relation to Thai politics. He was arrested and after much back and forth was later released on bail. Then to many people's surprise, the charges were dropped on first day. Usually, litigations on 112 offences are followed through to the fullest extent. So this is probably a very rare case where the public prosecutor decided not to pursue it.
So let's now try to unpack the important elements surrounding this case here.
Yeah.
First of all, the case has attracted international media attention. And many prominent media outlets like CNN, BBC, the New York Times, and The Guardian reported about the case. And international rights advocacy organizations, including Human Rights Watch, ASEAN Parliamentarians for Human Rights, Thai Lawyers for Human Rights, and the American Political Science Association, or APSA, have voiced concerns about the case.
Yeah, APSA in particular wrote an open letter to Marco Rubio and many members of the US Congress detailing how they are concerned about the freedom of expression issues in Thailand. I mean, even the US State Department issued a statement that it was alarmed by the arrest and was following the case very closely.
But in Thailand, reactions to the case have been rather mixed. And on one hand, there are people who view this incident in connection with the ongoing Thai-US tariff negotiations. And they believe that one of the reasons why the talks with the US have been delayed is because the US administration is not happy with the case against Paul Chambers.
We have a quote from Mr. Nosy and everything, as he calls himself. Talking to the press on the issue of tariffs negotiation, the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra said that the US is weighing in information from many sources, including security issues and the case where an American is being charged. And after the father of the current Prime Minister said this, Sirikanya Tansakun, Deputy Leader of the People's Party, which is the main opposition party, pressed the PM Paetongtarn for answers as to how the government will deal with the issue.
Now, even though Kun Thaksin did not mention any names, Sirikanya said that the Paetongtarn government should communicate clearly as to why Thailand has not been able to start the tariffs negotiation with the US. And if the cases of the American academic and the deportation of the 40 Uyghur detainees are factored in, how the government is going to handle the consequence.
She said, I asked the Prime Minister to clarify this issue by herself and refrain from communicating through Thaksin, who holds no official position in the government. And in response, Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra said that although the new date for the US tariffs negotiation has not been set after it was postponed from April 23rd, the Thai Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Commerce Ministry and the Finance Ministry are working on it. And she did not confirm nor deny the statement her father made about the possible links between US tariffs talk and the case of the American academic.
But Deputy Prime Minister Phumtham Wechayachai has a different views on this issue. He claimed that the Americans would not link Chambers' case to the negotiations on the tariffs, right? He even exclaimed when asked by a reporter about this. He said, "Oh no, do not make that kind of guess."
This is why we said the messages are very mixed. Maybe the DPM didn't get the group message, because before we wrap this up, we would like to draw your attention to a social media post from Thursday evening after the charges against Paul Chambers were dropped. คุณก่อแก้วพิกุลทอง เพื่อไทย Party List MP wrote, "I would like to thank the Region 6 Public Prosecutor and the team for deciding to drop the charges against Mr. Paul Chamber. This action will help reduce negative factors which the US may raise in trade negotiations between our two countries."
Okay, but linked or not linked, we will leave it for you to decide.
Yeah, but it's important to emphasize that the concession on lese majeste and Computer Crime Act charges are very rare.
Okay. All right. We are certain that the coming weeks will still be dominated by all this political maneuvering over the
Especially
possibility of a cabinet reshuffle
and the trade talks.
and the trade talks as well.
And floor 14. An important number to remember from now on. Well, thank you so much for watching. We hope you have a good weekend and see you in the next one.